Michael Storm, anarchist of comic books and co-owner of Amazing Fantasies comic book shop here in Topeka, Kansas, and I'm just getting the comic books out here on a Tuesday night, getting ready for tomorrow. The big show, as it were, good old Wednesday, new comic book day, and we'll dive right into that in just a second as I let you peek around at some of the other things that are available, recent stuff, fantastic vintage stuff, you name it, it's all here. Do me a favor real quick and click that like button. You just have no idea how important that is, what it really means for us when you click that like button. And if you can, if you think about it, before this is all over with, click that share button too, because man, we are still one of Topeka's best kept secrets, no doubt about that. Let's get into the new books. There's brand new. It's second print, I guess. Here, let me kind of stand off to the side so you can get the full effect of it there. Fantastic Catwoman #1 reprints and the great covers, all the great covers, including the I have #2s. I have original #1 or 2 maybe left floating around in there as well. Certainly the A cover, yeah. But they went and reprinted already this first cover, or this first issue, and you got the Care Andrews cover with that great use of the tail in there, but this time in a nice shiny foil for those of us who have attention problems when it comes to shiny things. Brand new Absolute Flash. Green Arrow is moving right along. You guys are going to regret not getting in on this one. Big reveal in this particular issue, and across the board, just important for the Absolute universe as this begins to develop. It's going to be one of those titles where people are going to come to me weeks from now asking me about #1s, and they're going to be 30 or 40 bucks, and I don't have one. Catwoman and a number of the other titles this week for DC have these wonderful swimsuit variants. You have this one here for Catwoman. You have a great Dan Mora cover there with Nightwing. And then here's this Nathan Zerdy doing a Wonder Woman cover. You can always tell Zerdy because he's got the tattoo thing going on so many of them. Here's one of the highlights for DC this week for sure. A brand new Dark Knights of Steel 2. This is a follow-up to a couple of stories. There was a story in a couple of, a 6-parter or something. A 12-parter? Gosh, I guess it was a 12-parter. It was a few years ago. And a good storyline. This is all about if Constantine were a prince in the Dark Ages, basically, and Superman and his mother and father come out of space, and they end up setting up the town, what would be the equivalent of sort of Metropolis, and they're the big players in the town, and all of the main characters, at least the trinity of characters there, pop up, as well as Constantine, obviously, if he's a part of it, and he is. Here's another one of these wonderful facsimiles, this time of Showcase #4, and that's your Barry Allen Flash, your Silver Age Flash, that making that wonderful. Oh well, and there's a shiny one too. Wonderful sort of first appearance, representing the first appearance of Silver Age Flash there. This is really cool. Not a lot going on for Marvel this week, but this is definitely one of the highlights. The Punisher versus the Amazing Spider-Man, and it's a new short series here. And I just love this cover because obviously it's a gold yellow cover that resembles the original, the 129, the Amazing Spider-Man #129, first appearance of the Punisher, but things are sort of reversed here, and Spidey seems to have the drop on the Punisher, whereas of course on the original it's the other way around. Another facsimile of Silver Surfer, this time #5, as those facsimiles continue. Still have some Shalabal left, and Jeff the Land Shark. What if Jessica Jones? Jessica Jones, character to watch right now, getting a total revamp across the Marvel Universe. X-Men #3, Anomaly storyline continues. that's about it for those guys. But of course, here we jump into the Independents, and again, just a great bunch of stuff here. If you've missed any of them recently, a lot of stuff is right here. Just these three boxes right here next to the new stuff here. This is all recent. If it's not up here and you think it might have been because it's been fairly recent, it's probably over there, or we don't have it. That very well could be. Brand new Last Ronin Training Day. It's a one-shot. Minotaur. This one I didn't read it yet, so I can't tell you about it. Mr. Nemo I did read. This is very fun. He is Nemo. Yes, he has a sub, and it's out to rescue a bunch of people from this dystopian future fascist police state. Yeah. Nubile Strike Force. Yes, looks a little bit like GI Joe and other things. It kind of speaks for itself, actually. If you open it up and you get in here and you start reading it, and if you're familiar with the original A Real American Hero GI Joe Marvel run, particularly the first issue, you will see the similarities. It's very, very similar. They go through the training room and the levels of the hideout that I don't remember what it was called. It's been so long, but they go through the very same sorts of stages and introductions in this first one. Just a bunch of fun, holding out with the tradition of mutant animals. It's the Super Mondo Mega Mutts, and if you don't believe my words on it, well, you can believe the cover, because of course when you have something called Super Mondo Mega Mutts, you have to have a Turtles homage, and they do, including a shiny one. Kingdom of Earth was really good. Very interesting thing going on here. This is about a decade into the future, so not very far, but demons and devils have sort of taken over the earth and are making humans their slaves and taking over. Really excited about this. New Matt Wagner doing Grendel, original Grendel, a new Devil's Crucible tale. This one called Sedition. Dungeon Crawler Carl finally gets a magazine, a comic book size, not one of these little booklets, but don't be jumping up and down and cheering too loudly yet. Like, I'm not going to go into it terribly, but nobody cares. Everybody is extremely disappointed. Everybody that I got the little trade that just came out here not too long ago, people just didn't care, and they had no interest in following up on it and getting what was next. I got that feedback from multiple people who picked up issues of it, and we sold through, 15 of them or something. We had quite a few issues of it, which, they may not sound like a lot, but relative to Topeka, Kansas, yeah, it was a lot, because there was a lot of hype about it. But look, you can't blame me for saying it, because if you open this up, it's the exact same story you already know. It's Carl. It's his girlfriend just broke up with him just before the world falls apart and his apartment building gets nuked, and luckily he follows the girlfriend's cat out the window, and he's not in the apartment when it gets sort of nuked in this whatever is happening that changes the world, this cataclysm. And so he goes on his little adventure with the cat, and the world starts talking to him and starts sort of dungeon mastering to him, giving him choices and telling him where to go. And all of that's wonderful if you like that storyline and you want to follow along. Here's the real problem with this. They didn't even bother to try to resize or redo or do new art. We went through all these covers. Oh yeah, sell us 50 different covers, but don't bother to go in and redo the pages. In fact, let's just go ahead and let me show you exactly what they did, and whatever. If you like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it. Everybody to their own, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here on the very first page. And see what they did? Every single page just shrunk down to fit. That's all. They're not brought up to the size of the comic book page. They're just slightly larger, which means it's readable for some of the people that couldn't read it. Because the print is too small. It's one of the problems with some of these smaller books that they've been printing, including those wonderful DC compact books over there that I'm almost out of. We sold through a third of them. I was a little worried that they wouldn't do that well, but they have done extremely well. I'm very happy about it. The only complaint about them is that sometimes the writing gets too small, but there you go. There's your Dungeon Crawler card. It is what it is. Bad Rock, Rob Liefeld writing a new story for Bad Rock with Demus art, and I love the artwork inside this. And then of course there's all these wonderful sort of Bad Rock, different covers. There's a Liefeld, and there's everybody's got to get in on the action, right? Banana number 1, he has a very strong appeal. He's an adventurer and a rock star and a savior. Interesting story. Actually, a number of stories in there. There are a couple of them, a couple of different stories in there, along with the Banana number 1. Jewel Thief, everyone loves it. Jewel Thief number 2. Junk Punch number 2. M1 Monster Racing League number 2. Something Epic is back with issue number 13 and the new storyline, and they went with these Howard the Duck covers, and I just couldn't do it. They couldn't even get me on a McFarlane. They couldn't even get me on a Scream homage cover, and they had some other great ones as well. You gotta love that. The old EC Comics sort of cover, and it's carrying ahead there. But I don't particularly care for Howard the Duck, whatever. The most important part of Howard the Duck was issue 13 when Kiss made their first appearance in comic books. Brand new Sonic the Hedgehog, X-Godzilla. That one pretty much says it all. New Dork, Battle Beast, still some number 1s, new Aladdin. This is new. Darkness is new. Megalith, the Olympus Saga 0 is new. I also still have a number 1 left, just one of them. This is Mark Spears Monsters. It's the cover is covered up because it's a glow in the dark and it'll get damaged, but we have just to prove that it's Mark Spears. There you go. There's a few issues of it. Tankers versus Ancient Aliens, another one of these fantastic bad ideas. A fantastic bad idea. You love it. Number 2, these Ben Oliver covers on G.I. Joe. There's another one of those for number 24. We get an annual for Space Ghost. We get a second print of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the new one that just launched. I still have an Operation Iron Coffin left. One of the most fun Dracula stories you'll read ever. New Gunslinger. What else do we have here? Closing in on, I guess we're still on the middle of the month, really, I guess. We still get a couple of weeks, your chance to win those. All you have to do is be on a poll. Somebody's going to win both of those. They get them both. They get the book, and they get the cool hand-drawn sketch. And as you know, let's see. There is a couple more things here. Foundations. This is the new Jonathan Hickman, and it is what it says it is. It's the foundation for a new universe that he and others are working on together, and it's a big deal. And really looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. New Savage Sword of Conan as well. Got a couple of these big things. Let's see. Here's Volume 2 of Turtles, and so we have both of those to perfectly match up. These are our last set. We've already sold the other 3 sets that we had. And that just about wraps it up, I suppose. You know the deal. Do me a favor, click that like button. Tell somebody about comic books today. In fact, buy them a comic book. Share it with them. They will, if they've never experienced one before, they will appreciate it for the rest of their lives. And, of course, the story is, as always, that these things may be here when you get here, or they may not. So you're taking your chances if they're not on your poll. Share this video around, and we'll see you next time you're in the store.